Another part of it is when then you are doing some kind of, let's say, bhakti, some kind of mantra, some kind of ritual, whether you are doing it on your own or maybe you are doing it because you're traveling in India and these people are doing it and you feel, oh, I can't not do it, so I have to do it, so I'm doing it. Both ways. Some way or other you have to be sincere about it. Because if you are not, they will know. They look straight into your subconscious mind. If you are coming here and singing together with me Gayatri mantra, but at the same time you are feeling, let's say, a little bit negative about it, or not in the mood for it. Like sometimes we are not in the mood. No? They'll know it. And that may also create some problem. Because by using that mantra you are attracting naturally energies that are very devoted to this deity, to this mantra. The mantra and the deity are not different, no? It's all about energy, it's all about vibration. Mantra is sound, sound is energy vibration, and the deity that is beyond it is also an energy vibration. There is nothing more or less, neither are we, anyhow. But so, when you are using the mantra, you are attracting this energy. If you are doing this, but at the same time feeling, oh, what bullshit, not a good idea. Better then not do it. If in the morning you feel like, wow, I had a bad dream, I really don't feel like doing it, then please don't do it. Better not. So sincerity in these things is very, very important. In your meditation is very, very important. And I know it is not easy. Because maybe for one mantra or a few seconds, yes, you can do it, do it with enough positive energy, or at least keep away the negative thinking. But if you have a habit of doing maybe one mala of mantra every day, and then one day in the morning you really don't feel like it, and you're still doing it, but actually you are completely not doing it, you're way elsewhere with your mind, it's not very respectful. Respect for each and everything is one of the things you develop through understanding the existence of the spiritual world. Because whatever you see, whatever you meet is part of it. Whether it is a tree, whether it is a mountain, or a river, or a rock, or a person, or an animal, or a flower, it is part of it. And so you respect it. This is very important. And don't just hit a rock because you're angry. Really, you don't know. You don't know what's in the rock.
Sadness is mantras that help you focus on something else, and sadness is
No, sadness is sadness. No, sadness is no disrespect. Sadness is allowed, everything is allowed. Only it creates consequence. But sadness is not creating so much consequence. But anger has quite great consequence. And in that way now we are also touching another aspect of it, and that is karma. Karma is also a very mysterious thing and very much related to Tantra and to this whole story of the spiritual world. Karma means that whatever you do or think or feel is creating some kind of response, right? So you may have heard about it, you may have read about it, but you must have thought, how is it possible? How can it really work? And the only way to actually get some understanding of it again is through the spiritual world. When you are having inside of you, in your subconscious, let's say, a desire for love in the sense of a life partner and a family and children and this whole story, which many have, then that is like a little song inside your energy field. It's like a little vibration in your subconscious mind, which is connected to the common mind field. So when that song is there, it will create a response. It will create an attraction. And then the Indian way, let's say, of explaining it is that then some helper spirit of the planet Venus, who is involved with love and all these things, will come and try to make your desire come true. This is basically then how it is understood. So that then, let's say, when some suitable guy or girl is walking by, maybe this energy is a little bit influencing the mind field in both people there, creating a little story, so that some contact happens and something happens and maybe a nice love story can start. This is how karma is understood in the spiritual sense, and this also works, of course, with, let's say, guilt. If some little song is being sung all the time inside of you of guilt, then you are asking in a way for punishment. Then this energy that you are creating, some helping spirit of the planet Saturn will come and create a little problem for you, so that this guilt can go and you can let it go. So this is also very much where Tantra can help you. By understanding certain patterns, karmic patterns in your life. Like many people will say that, oh yeah, whenever I have a job, this and this and this happens and creates problems for me. Always like the same pattern with different people. I've tried 5 jobs and everywhere I get into the same kind of pattern. Or in a love relationship or in whatever you are doing, some of these patterns you can find. And then you can try to understand it in this way, that this pattern is created inside of you, in your subconscious mind, and you are creating certain attraction, and this interaction influences other people and creates the same story over and over again until you have learned, until you have let go. And you learn and you let go by accepting that which is in front of you. But in some things this is quite easy, but in many other things this is not so easy to just accept what comes. Somebody says, oh, I'm always in debt and I work very hard, but somehow this money is going everywhere and I never get out of debt. How can I accept? Difficult. But there Tantra also can help by understanding the link. And this is really hard to explain, but by understanding the link between those events that seem to repeat themselves and the spiritual world, then we can kind of find out, okay, what can be done? What kind of energy we can attract to resolve this blockage inside of us, to resolve this vibration inside of us. And in that way then specific mantra can be used, specific ritual can be used, specific practice can be used. So but that is already more advanced tantric practice, and in a way also belongs to tantric healing. There really are 2 wide tantras. One is Tantra Yoga, the use of Tantra for the purpose of yoga. And the other one is Tantric healing. And that is very complicated Story because like a doctor has to learn many different diseases and causes and cures. Also in the case of a tantric healer, this is it. So this is not what this class today is about. But certainly there also some help can be there. For example, for people who have real difficulty, though they try very hard, to achieve deep meditation. For days and days and days they have done nothing else, only mantra, 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 but still they are not getting there. Still they are wide open. They can't get inside, they can't let go. Something, some fear maybe is holding them back. Then certainly Tantra can help. Then certainly a more, let's say, personal approach of the teacher and the giving of a specific practice can help. So that is definitely also part of what Tantra is about. But okay, what I wanted to talk about was mostly the things that you are already doing or can do easily within your practice to make it a little bit more efficient. So we've said lamp, we've said water, we've said incense, and definitely so we have to say sound. Sound, whether used loud or inside, doesn't matter, because where you want to reach is anyhow in the subconscious. It's in the mind field. So whether you do it inside or out is not such a big deal. But so the use of mantra in yoga goes quite beyond mantra being just like an object of meditation. This is how we look at mantra in the beginning when we learn to meditate. Mind cannot stop thinking, so we need to give mind one thing to think on, a mantra, and by focusing on that and repeating that, then finally we can reach some deep meditation. But the use of mantra goes quite beyond that, and many of you here already, like we talked about your life and things, and then I say, well, maybe you try this mantra or you try that mantra, because that particular sound may be particularly helpful to a person. And then be better to use, or at least for some time to use, than some more general mantra. So that is sound, but of course sound, it can also be the bell or other things that is possible. So a general attitude of respect, of sincerity in all these things. And one practice which is absolutely lacking in the West is what is called the Ancestor Rituals. As I said, the ancestors are the spiritual beings, they are most close to you. They are, generally speaking, very beneficial to you. But if you don't keep the contact, if you neglect them, then that influence will become less or even negative. So, according to the teacher I'm mostly working with now, who is a tantric healer in Nepal, called Kedarpriti, he says that many of the mental disturbances in the West and in westernized societies, because it's mostly including the whole world these days, that many of these mental disturbances are caused by the absence of ancestor spirit practice. You can look in any culture, any old culture, always you will find that ancestor rituals are very important. Any culture, except ours. Well, we still have Halloween and Allerheiligen, Allerzielen in Belgium. But that's only once a year. And actually very few people are doing it. Mostly old people are doing it. Young people feel, dead is dead. What's the use? But I strongly advise, if in your family it is still like common to bring some flowers to the grave or whatever around that time to join it, to do it and to keep it going. But I also advise to do a little bit more than that, because once a year is really not enough. It's really not enough. A little more is needed, and you don't have to go to the graveyard, because that's mostly a help for you. That's really not so important to the ancestors. So I generally advise to do something. It may only take 5 minutes, like every month, or rather every new moon. New moon is a time when the link with the spiritual world is very strong, because that also kind of changes, and where your ancestor spirits will generally be very positive, be very calm and very beneficial. So it is the best time. And so what you do is quite simply that in the morning you get up, preferably before sunrise, but okay. Do it at least around sunrise. Certainly no more than 2 hours after sunrise, because then it's quite useless. So you get up and you just bring together Panch Bhutta, Panch Tattva. This is meaning 5 elements. 5 elements means earth, water, fire, air, and space, or akash. And by offering these 5 elements, you are offering actually everything, because the whole universe is only made out of these 5 elements. And that is then what you do. You just, let's say, sit, and you have like a little plate with your 5 elements. And you say, you just think of those ancestors that you know. Maybe you have some pictures there, that is possible and helpful maybe. But so you think of those you know, and you say hi, quite simply, whether it's out loud or in your mind, but you say, hey, how are you doing? You know. They're people, they're very normal. So you don't have to do anything very special. And how are you doing? And here are some gifts. And I hope I'm not doing anything wrong in your eyes. And if so, try to do better, and please help me to be a good person, to be happy. And that's it. Bye-bye. See you next month. Not much more is needed if your intention is sincere. If you can do it with your heart. And it's advisable when you think, let's say, of your grandmother you've known, and your grandfather you've known, and maybe some uncle you've known, that then you also say, and to anybody from my family that I don't know. Because as I said, some may be there for a very long time, maybe you really have never known them, but they are still there in the spirit form, and they still see you as part of their family, because they feel the connection. So you just do like this, and that's all. So, and what are these 5 elements? Usually for the earth element, we either take some sweet, or some fruit, or some flower. These are like representative of the earth element. So when you give this, then you have to understand that what you see is what they get. Meaning that they cannot see these flowers. But through your mind, through your eyes, they can experience it. So it is important for them that you are attentive of what you are doing. So you don't just like throw some flower there like that. It's also a matter of respect, but it's really like... And to them, this is an experience which does not, let's say, come to them so easily. Especially those beings that are, let's say, positive towards you, they also respect your privacy. So they will not so much like use your eyes when you're not asking them to. So in this way you really are allowing them to experience the beauty of a flower. And that is really giving them something, believe me, that is something that is really like giving them a very good feeling. And then for water, you give some water. You can either spray it or put a cup of water or something, a copper cup or silver cup, something best, but okay, doesn't matter. Earth cup can also be. Then for fire, you give some fire, some light, some lamp. Then for air, usually we give some incense. And then for space, we give some sound, which can be a bell or some mantra, or maybe even some song that has a particular connection to your family. There may be songs like that are popular in your family already, like, let's say, from your grandmother's time. So why not? They will enjoy it. And that's basically it. Hi, how are you doing? Hope I'm not doing anything wrong. Please help me to be happy. Thank you. Bye-bye. More is not needed, but more is possible. Whatever you want. You can tell them a story from a book if you want. Whatever. You can, let's say, if your grandfather liked to smoke cigarettes, you can put some cigarette there for him to enjoy. That way, many possible things are there. What I am now explaining is the basic thing. The basic form of all Tantric ritual. Whether it is for the ancestors or for the devatas or for anything, always this is the basic form. Always. And you can add to it like in India, for example, many different kinds of traditions exist, and also in Nepal. Like I remember one Indian lady who was living here in Ghent, from the south of India, and she explained to me that once a year the whole family comes together, and then they make a very, very special meal. Actually, for every ancestor, they cook the favorite dish. Like they have this list. This grandfather, he likes to eat this, and grandmother likes to eat this, and the uncle of that one, because they have these huge families, likes to eat this and this, so they have a whole list, like make 30 or whatever, I don't know, different dishes. And then they put this all in one room, close the room for 24 hours, don't go in, let the spirits enjoy that, and then after 24 hours, again, take everything away in nature. Oh, this is one important part also. If you are offering something, you can't leave it lying there forever, right? So at some point you have to take it away. Don't throw it in the garbage, but bring it to nature. Anywhere, your garden or some grass, it doesn't have to be nature, like real nature, because that's hard to find these days. But anywhere, but not in the garbage. They will not so much appreciate. Huh? No, don't eat it. Well, if you give me a banana, but first you eat it, or afterwards you eat it, I don't know. Yeah, well, I must say that in India, where maybe money is a little scarce, it happens. Yes. It happens in many different ways, but usually there's at least a little part of it that will not be touched, and that will be put in nature. But it is possible, like here, I have also given prasad, some marzipan around and shared it, but left some there. This part I will not eat after the class. This part will go in the grass. Now, one thing which is hard in the beginning to understand, but is actually quite easy to understand, is why so many tantric rituals are complicated and very different from one place to another. Like maybe in one place, for some particular ritual, you will be able to use only red flowers. And in another place, for the same ritual, they will say, no red flowers, only white flowers you can use. And then you go like, what are you doing? It's crazy. No? This is, in the beginning, difficult to understand. This is actually quite easy. Because part of the ritual, you can say, like the water and the lamp and the incense, they are universal. They are true for all spiritual beings because, incense smells nice, so you get a good feeling of it. And so happy spirits, they like good feelings, so they are attracted to it, and happy spirits either, change their mood or go. This is universal. But many of these things are very local. Because the spiritual beings with which you are working are very local. And this is again particularly important for healing. Like the healing that I am learning from this Nepali healer is not asking the Belgian spirits to help me to heal. It is asking the Nepali spirits to help me to heal. So it is talking in Nepali, you can say. And the colors that I'm using and the rituals that I'm using and all these things, they are talking to those spirits in Nepal. And actually in the spirit world, distance is not like here, and it's not a problem. So it doesn't matter where I am, they can still respond to it. So that explains why all these things are so very different from one place to another, from one culture to another, comparing India to Nepal, or even American Indians or African shamans or South American shamans. They're all doing a different thing and still it seems to work. But that is because this is like a language which comes and which is related to a particular group which have done these things themselves when they were still in the human form, in the physical form. So that is why they understand it. That is also why it should not be changed. Like we Westerners always feel like, you've been doing it like this for a long time, I know, but can't we change it? We can make it shorter, we can make it more efficient. But a shaman who knows what he's doing will say, no, please let me do it the way it's been done by my grandfather and his grandfather and that grandfather and so on. Because those are the ones who are helping. Those are the ones who need to know that I'm asking them this or that. So that is why these things are so very different from one tradition to another. In yoga, most practice that we do is very similar to this ancestor ritual. And so the reason I am talking about this ancestor ritual is because I feel it's like most close to you and most easy to kind of absorb. I know it's already difficult, but most easy to kind of get it. That maybe yes, somehow your grandmother is still out there, and maybe yes, she would like to have a flower and some incense, and maybe yes, so I can do it even if I'm not really sure if it makes any sense, but I can do it and see, whatever. But actually, so in yoga, all other practices that we do have the same basic form. Only then, as I said, maybe it is for Shiva that we do. If you want really to have help in meditation, and especially in detachment, if you feel that you are still too much attached to this and that, and you cannot let it go, then Shiva is the one to ask. So then you do the same thing. In a regular basis, maybe every day before your meditation, you offer the 5 elements. Just takes a minute. And then you do your meditation. If you are doing it in a sincere way, somebody will respond. Maybe not Shiva himself, but somebody associated with him, some friend of his, and really can help you. I can only say this from my own experience, that kind of help that I have received has been a very, very big factor in whatever development I've had. Without it, it would have been much less. To me, that is quite clear, but okay, it's not so easy to understand. So whether it is then Ganesha or any of these, and it works of course the same way with Buddha or with any other culture or religion, or if to you, it is a tree, then it is a tree. Mother Earth will listen, and help. So in that way it is easy to explain. Of course, if you become a student of a certain teacher, then you also become part of a certain lineage. And the lineage quite literally means that this teacher, if he is any good, had good teachers, and these good teachers may still be in the body, but some may also no longer be in the body, but they may still be teaching. They may still be helping. They may still be supporting. And in that way, all the ashramas of India, all the, let's say, big teaching lineages, are a huge support. So that kind of worship that you can learn there, it may seem very crazy as a Westerner to go there and learn some antique kind of ritual, but actually at that time what you are doing is quite simply paying some respect to that teaching lineage in order to get help from that teaching lineage. And help goes quite beyond the words. I hope everybody's there already. The words are nothing compared to the real help you can get on the level of your subconscious mind. What you get in your conscious mind is nothing. Little help, yes, but little direction, but mostly a lot of just thoughts which come and go. What you really want in spiritual growth is the growth in your subconscious mind. It is the growth of your soul. It is the growth of your deeper emotions. It is to really develop peace, to really develop love. Not as a story that you tell yourself, oh, today I should love everybody. No. It's getting up in the morning and looking around with love, but without making any effort. For that you can get help. That is really not only your, let's say, responsibility. If you open up to that kind of growth, the help you will get. If you can a little bit understand how this works in relationship to the spiritual world, and be respectful to whichever spiritual practice you find, you can get help from many different teaching lineages. It's not because there is some teaching lineages that they are very close-minded and only want to help those that are. This is not how it works. This is not how spirituality works. So you can go here, you can go there, you pay respect and you get something everywhere. And you can grow. And sometimes you will need a little bit more of this kind of, let's say, help. And sometimes you will need a little bit more of that kind of help. So in that way, going around and getting is what makes you grow. So you don't only have to come here, you can go other places also. This is the right way to look at teaching. I thought it would be valuable to do a little exercise for those who want to do it. So that maybe at home then also it becomes more easy to do it, because somehow you get a little feeling of it. And there's many, so we have to keep it very basic and simple, otherwise it will take a long time. But I still think we have time to do it. Yeah. So a very basic ancestor ritual, and I'm not intending to film that or anything, so we'll do it over there. Maybe somebody can help me and put the flowers take them off and put them in this plate. And maybe somebody else can help and put some water from the tap in there. Important when you use water, don't use water from a bottle. It may be more healthy, you can say, because it's from natural spring or something, but because it's been stored for a long time, it's dead. Spiritually speaking, it's dead. Even polluted water from the tap is better for this purpose. So, nobody has to do this, but can't be any problem when doing it. So I'm just now creating the 5 elements. No? This is a very simple kind of lamp anybody can make with just some oil like sunflower oil or anything. And this is cotton thread, nothing more difficult here. In the Indian shops you can also of course buy these things. So we have a little lamp, let's put it like this for the moment. And some water, and one of the flowers in the water. And then of course we need incense, no? I'm not really doing it here in the good way, in the sense that I don't really have the time to do it in a good way, because one thing which is important, like incense is important, is cleanliness. So as important as it is to burn incense in your house generally, and especially in your puja place or meditation place, it is important to keep everything clean, because bad smells will really attract unhappy spirits. So it is also of course a kind of respect that I am not like putting this incense on the ground where maybe before somebody with dirty feet was standing. These are simple things. I would say they are not extremely important, but they are easy to do. So then you can just do it. So then I can put it on a cloth, and that's more clean. No? But I've seen quite a few tantrics not paying very much attention to that. Just the basic, like they do, but not so obsessed with it as some others are. This may be also a little bit part of the tradition, you know. If your grandfather wasn't obsessed about it, you probably also won't be so obsessed about it. That's the main thing. Yeah, that can go. Yeah. Go. Right. So this way we have the 5 elements, no? Flowers, some water which you can spray with the flower who's in the water cup, then some light. Somebody is behaving badly. Light go out in this process. some incense. I'll put some matches, that'll be easier than using the lamp for that. And a bell or some. So for those who want, you just come here and you sit and you have think shortly of whoever are your ancestors that you know, and you say hi and how are you doing. You know, it's polite to be interested in how other people are doing. It's just very natural. And then, have some gifts and you just put them in that other plate. And I hope I'm not doing anything wrong. Help me to be more happy. That's really, the basic. For the rest, you can choose your own way. Only I would say in this case, don't make it very long, otherwise other people have to wait. And don't really have so much time. And nothing more to say. You have a question? No. It's a good question. Many people have asked it. But no, definitely not. It's always possible to be forgiven. Okay, that is your choice. Yeah. No, but that is not needed also. You can still respect them. So, we have to make our own choices. In a way, spiritual beings are much more aware of many things. And that is one of them, that we all have to make our own choices. Do they count? Oh, anybody counts. I mean, if you especially want to name some departed friend, who is not a family, but still a very good friend, or a teacher, or a dog who passed away, sure, can be done. The only thing I would say is to make a different plate. Have one plate for the ancestors and then one plate for everybody else. That is possible.